Hello everyone, Chris Lashava with RE/MAX Heritage Professionals, and we are once again at the end of another month here at the end of May. It means it's market update time, so let's get into the numbers. This is for Polk County, Florida, and this is numbers through the end of April 2026. Polk County saw 1,238 closed sales in April 2026 compared to 1,351 a year ago. That's a decrease of 8.4%. Cash sales as a percentage of closed sales, 23.2% of all sales were cash sales. That's compared to 20% a year ago. That's an increase of 16%. The median sales price in Polk County is $300,000 even. That's compared to $314,780 a year ago. That's a decrease of 4.7%. The average sales price is $318,490. That's compared to $328,396 a year ago, a decrease of 3%. So we definitely saw prices drop from this year over last year. The median percent of original list price, sellers received 95.6% of list price compared to 95.6% a year ago, so absolutely no change. The median time to go under contract, 54 days compared to 53 days a year ago, an increase of 1.9%. The median time to sale or close, 94 days compared to 90 days a year ago, an increase of 4.4%. New pending sales, 1,361 compared to 1,465 a year ago, a decrease of 7.1%. New listings, Polk County saw 1,628 new listings compared to 1,927 new listings a year ago, a decrease of 15.5%. Pending inventory, 1,860 compared to 1,905. That's a decrease of 2.4%. Active inventory, 5,725 compared to 6,538. That's a decrease of 12.4%. And then month supply of inventory, 5-month supply of inventory compared to 5.3 month supply of inventory a year ago, a decrease of 5.7%. Tune in, we'll talk a little bit more about what all of this means for you as a buyer or seller looking here in Polk County, Florida. So the biggest thing that I noticed about these numbers, and I think that may be telling us what's to come, is we're seeing a drop in the active inventory and new listings. Why is that so important? Well, in a lot of ways, that's going to help drive home prices. So as inventory decreases, if there's the same amount of buyers out there going after fewer homes, that actually will see an increase in home prices over time. Now, there's a lot of factors at play right now. For example, mortgage rates are still pretty high. They're not at the 6% threshold that I think a lot of buyers are looking for. They're actually up over 6.5%. Inflation is still high, gas prices are through the roof, and so buyers are still standing on the sidelines. One of the things you do have going for you as a seller as we are moving into the summer months, school just got out last week, at least here in Polk County, and that means those families with children, this is the prime time for them to look for a house and close on a house before the new school year starts in August. So we have a couple months here where I think we're going to see an increase in activity overall. Granted, we don't have the snowbirds down here, so the 55 and up community usually struggles a little more during this time of year, but those looking for single family homes in all age communities, I think we're going to see an increase in activity there. One of the things that I'm coming across a lot, and I've talked to other agents in my office and other brokerages as well, is we're seeing a lot of people that bought in the last 2 to 3 years needing to sell. And a lot of them bought new homes, which was great because they were great deals at the time. However, in those communities, often the builder is still building. And so these people that are trying to sell now are now competing with the same builder they bought the home from. And it's really challenging because even if you can match price, which the builders have been lowering their prices to get inventory off their shelves, so to speak, it's really hard for someone in an existing home to match the builder's incentives. paying all the closing costs, buying the rate down, sometimes doing both as well as dropping the price. It makes it really hard for you as a seller if you're in an area where there's new home communities right nearby and someone can buy the same home that is brand new, no one's ever lived in it, and they don't have to pay their closing costs. They don't have to, they're going to get an interest rate buy down. And maybe they're paying the same price for your home as they would the builder's home. Maybe they're paying a little less for the builder's home. It's really a hard situation to be in as a seller. So when you buy new home, it's really important that you have really a stable situation and not be forced to be in a situation where you need to sell. Now, hopefully in a lot of these cases, the seller will at least be able to break even, pay off the mortgage with the sale. They might not walk away with anything, but at least then they can get out of their situation and move to where they need to. And sometimes you don't have control over what life throws at you, and things happen, and it just is what it is. But it's important to be realistic if you're in that situation, because if you're going to price your home at $340 and the builder is selling at $325 with $20,000 in closing cost assistance and interest rate buy down to 4.99%, it's going to be hard for you to sell your house. The only way you can beat that is you got to beat it on price, or if you did significant amount of upgrades to the home since you've been in it. Fenced yard, pool, maybe updated the fixtures in the home so they're not builder grade, updated the flooring, whatever it is. If you have significant upgrades you've done, then we can maybe argue for why your home should sell for more than the builders. But otherwise, that's a really hard argument to make, because if I'm a buyer or a buyer's agent, I can take my client down the road. I know that I'm going to get paid at least 2.5% or 3% by the seller. I know the seller is going to get their closing costs paid for, and I know they're going to get an interest rate buy down. There's really no reason to see your house unless you either give them a reason with price or with the updates you've done to the house. Buyers, if you're out there, you can be picky. You can make sure you can ask for some closing cost assistance. You can ask for an interest rate buy down. You can certainly ask for repairs. But if you wait too long, you're going to lose those opportunities, and it's going to become more of a seller's market than it already is. It is technically still a seller's market. We're not at 6 months of inventory. It's more of a balanced market, to be honest with you, which means the best houses will sometimes see bidding wars, but there's also enough inventory that buyers don't have to be in that situation where they're in a bidding war all the time. If I were a buyer, I would be looking at new construction as well, for the reasons I just said. It's a disadvantage to sellers. You can get your closing costs paid for, you can get your interest rate bought down at least for a year or two, until the economy settles and maybe interest rates start to go down. So there's a lot to think about if you are a buyer or a seller in this market, and really everyone's situation is unique. So just because you might read something in the news that says now is not a good time to buy, or now is a good time to buy, it's really more of a personal situation, a personal choice based on your unique circumstances. And the best thing you can do is talk with someone in the industry who's going to give you good advice, whether it's in your best interest to buy or sell. I hope you'll reach out to me if you find yourself in that situation. You just want to talk about your situation. I have a number of sellers that were looking to sell a year ago and decided based on the numbers it didn't make sense and are waiting, and now they're reaching back out to touch base again to see if it's a good time for them. So I'm happy to do that for you. Please reach out to me. Remember, you can't miss with Chris. Have a great day, everybody.